Welcome to another episode of Limetree Labs Confidential.
Exposing the secrets of SMB technology.
Yes, and we're excited to have this chat today. Again, we're really focused on how we can talk about, keep it interesting, and good information for small to medium businesses and organizations for their technology. And really maybe more of a breakdown of that is your information systems, your phones, copier printers, cybersecurity. What else, Chad? All the kind of network stuff.
Software you're using.
Yeah.
Even other services you use. Who's providing internet, who's providing access controls.
Yes.
All of that is related to SMB IT.
Yeah. And so we want to be a resource for that, for everyone to listen, tune in, and see what can help answer questions and put you on the right road. And today we're going to talk about internal IT. Is it good for SMB?
That's right. It's so catchy.
It's so catchy, and yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about that. Let's start off, Chad, with explaining kind of the difference between internal IT and outsourced IT.
Yeah, there's kind of two types of internal IT, really, I would say that you run into. One is you have internal IT management, where a lot of the decision making at the management level will still happen internally within an organization.
Yeah.
But most of those decisions lead to outsourced IT.
Yeah.
So that typically means an organization has doesn't have a large internal group of tier 1 staff, tier 2 staff, their own engineers, their own admins, right?
Yeah.
And then there's full-blown internal IT departments where you do have all that. You have all the components of IT. Those are the two types you get. But really, when it comes to SMB, it's very different.
Yeah.
So the very first thing I'd like to throw out there is when the term internal IT, that term, when it's used by a business consultant, you're reading an article about it.
Yeah.
If you're researching it, it means enterprise IT.
Right.
It means organizations with 500 or more employees. It means organizations with many sites or very large campuses. It means organizations with many internal IT products or doing a lot of internal development. That is what most of the things around the term internal IT or IT department mean.
And makes sense on the enterprise level because you're hitting all the things you need.
That's right. But like so many things in business, when you take those principles and you try to scale them down too small, it changes completely.
Yeah.
So if you're an organization with 50 employees, even 100 employees, and then you're going to have your own internal IT department, you will not have any ability to have the same type of internal IT department that an enterprise has.
Right.
Because an enterprise is going to have 50 or more in their internal IT department. And somebody goes, oh, that's total BS. I worked at this place and we had an IT manager and an engineer and 3 help desk people. Yeah. Okay. But it really isn't the same thing. We'll go into why, but I really just want to set that, break that apart.
Yeah.
When it comes to internal IT, most of the terms that you see around internal IT, they're enterprise stuff. We're going to talk about specifically how it applies to SMBs.
Yeah, exactly. And I've heard consultants and seen consultants before that they actually don't really know what they're talking about with IT. Right. But they just know from maybe a theory kind of place, and where they will sometimes recommend to small to medium businesses to have internal IT. And it always makes my eyes bleed because it's like, wow, that's a terrible recommendation. We're going to talk about why.
Yeah.
But yeah. And
so it brings to mind immediately the story you know very well.
Yeah.
You just exactly what you mentioned. This organization, I think 70 employees maybe, and they hire a business consultant.
Yeah.
to help them fix their IT problems because
Yeah.
they're having IT problems.
Yeah.
And they're using an outsourced IT
Yeah.
vendor.
Yeah.
Not a good one,
Right.
not a comprehensive one, but they're
Right.
using an outsourced one.
Right.
And we were in that mix a little bit,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. And if you're a small to medium business, we would say keep looking for great outsourced IT. Keep looking for because the answer isn't, oh, well, the first try of outsourcing our IT, we got with a bad, bad vendor or whatever. And then, so you abandon that and go internal. Like that's not the route you should take.
I know. In this particular instance, it was funny because we had a meeting with this company.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about doing IT. It was something different, but we were aware of what they were dealing with, where this consultant was advising them,
Yeah.
you're getting bad service because you're using outsourced. You need an internal IT
Right.
manager, one
Yeah.
employee.
Yeah.
Well,
What one?
one employee, because of course, they're 70.
Right.
They have an employee
Yeah.
count of 70. It would be a little silly to have
Yeah.
more than one IT employee,
Yeah.
right? Well, we were in their building, we were meeting with them, and I remember within just a few minutes of being there, immediately connecting to their internal network and doing a few things, I was able to identify they had a serious core configuration problem with their Active Directory.
Yeah.
I tried to chat with them about it a little bit, and of course, they don't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
The consultant. He's not an IT consultant, by the way. He's a
Right.
business consultant.
Right.
He doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
And you know who I know for a fact
Mm-hmm.
also didn't know what I was talking about?
Yeah. The person.
They ended up hiring
Yeah.
as their internal IT guy.
Right.
So in that case, it was a exercise in insanity.
Yeah.
You have people who don't know what they're talking about,
Yeah.
telling people who don't understand what they're saying
Yeah.
to hire somebody who doesn't know what they're
Yeah.
doing. That's the worst case
Yeah.
scenario. It's not always that bad,
Yeah.
but it was pretty bad.
Yeah. And I think it's hard for small to medium business and organizations because they don't know what they don't know. And sometimes I think I just want somebody here. I want somebody here,
Right.
that's here and, but they don't know really, does this person really know what they're right? And there is a different level of you have an employee. Now, if that employee, loses the job, that's terrible for the employee, but they can go find another one, do other things. When you find a good outsourced IT solution, they need that business. They need that client. They
work hard for it.
They work hard for it. And so when you find a good one, and they're going to have a staff that has broad knowledge, they're going to have a lot of different expertise, and they're going to be able to have tools and be able to talk in terms that a small to medium business would know to assure them that, hey, these things are getting covered. This is what versus again putting all your trust in internal IT, a employee that nobody really knows what they know or don't know, that kind of thing.
You're dead on there. And our first story illustrates the first reason that internal IT fails SMB.
Yeah.
The people who are hiring and managing
Yeah.
the internal IT employee.
Yeah.
And this really goes for situations where there's maybe one or two, maybe three internal IT employees.
Yeah.
The people involved in that do not know what to ask or how to oversee that person or position.
Yeah.
How do they know? These are systems they don't understand.
Right.
When you hire a financial analyst, your financial company, if the financialist is doing good or bad, and that's easy.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Right.
But when you are any number of businesses and you hire an internal IT, how do you know what they're telling you is accurate? How do you know that what the results are giving you are appropriate?
Yeah.
Typically, all that matters is if the computers are on and the internet's working, they must be doing a good job.
Right.
Until one day,
Yeah.
that lack of competence that you have no oversight for leads to a real disaster. And we have another story about that.
Yeah. I mean, we saw a disaster where this organization had internal IT, and the value that the internal IT was trying to or that they were using was to keep costs very low. Now, not on themselves, not on their salaries,
Right.
just on all the equipment and software and security and all the stuff you need to keep your environment secure and keep things really rolling well. Just save money on all that.
Right.
So, some value of like it was terrible. And so this organization absolutely got hacked, ransomware, everything else. And after analyzing it, they let go of that internal IT and brought in outsourced IT. And it's been great for them ever since. Now, this is a bit controversial, I think, a little bit. And you and I never shy away from that. And because I do get tired sometimes of the kumbaya attitudes, that goes around sometimes. There is good ways to do things. There is the best way to do things, and there's bad,
Right.
Mediocrity, with high achievement is different, that kind of stuff. So I want to be clear that if you're an enterprise level company, and you have internal IT or a internal IT department and all that kind of stuff, that that's fine. We are clearly saying that if you're a small to medium business, you should not have internal IT. It is not the best solution.
That's right.
The best solution is to outsource that IT to a managed service provider, a good one, that can take very good care of your IT environment.
Yes.
I just want to make that clear, because the other thing we get too in our industry, and I try not to throw too much of our industry out there because, buzzwords or whatever else, because that could get boring or whatever else. But, we hear the word co-managed a lot, co-managed. And I guess there are scenarios I've heard where it kind of works. I don't know.
But always leaning towards the enterprise scale.
Right.
Where I hear it's working well, it leads towards the enterprise scale, or organizations that have internal IT components because of their nature.
Yeah.
Maybe it's an organization that develops their own software and maintains it.
Right.
Then they're probably going to have people who are knowledgeable about IT in general.
Yeah.
That, are the experts in their software.
Right.
I think are the experts in their hosting configuration. Yeah. And in those cases, that can make perfect sense.
Yes.
But in the majority of situations, you've got an organization that has nothing to do operationally with IT, other than they need it.
Yeah. And overall, we've just seen tension in that scenario.
Exactly.
We've seen unclear, direction and other problems,
Yeah.
And eventually, a lot of times, one or the other kind of wins out.
Yeah. The
it's
big
kind of
problem
absurd.
is you've got this, when you're in a co-managed situation.
Yeah.
And again, there's plenty of places that can work it out, but it can always skews towards the enterprise level of organization.
Right.
But what happens is you've got this internal employee or employees, and they work for the company, right? Which means they're looking out for the company.
Yeah.
Then you've got the outsourced people, and they must not be looking out for the company. They don't really work for the company.
Yeah.
And so if the internal people are saying something that is not right, maybe usually just through lack of knowledge or broader exposure to what's going on in the IT world, they usually are going to win out. Yeah. And then, like you said, it becomes contentious. Yeah. And it doesn't work well. The company doesn't get what they want. The IT service is constantly fighting battles. We run into situations like that where we're kind of getting a little sabotage. And usually for us, it hasn't necessarily been the internal IT person or the official IT person, but it might be the person internally who historically was looked at as, they know what's going on with IT. Yeah. And suddenly they don't like the answer we've given them or the solution we've recommended. Yeah. And you got a conflict. Yeah. And so again, for your business, you want to find a good outsourced IT service or MSP, managed service provider. I think about this, definitely you have these situations with co-managed where, it can get very frustrating for a lot of different parties on that end, but you definitely want to be clear with that. And again, the outsourced solution as well. Let's be clear about that too.
if you've had a bad experience, as a business organization, sit back and analyze and think about what that entailed. Because first of all, I'll say local. I love the word local. Local's a great word. Local's a great word. So if you want great phone service, make sure they're local.
Right.
If other really great service, make sure there's local with it, like that kind of thing. So what I'm thinking about is, again, another example is a big internet provider. At least that's how they started out, was a big internet provider. But then this big internet provider decided, well, we can do managed service work. We can do IT stuff. We can do this and that. So this particular organization with them was getting charged, way too much money, was not getting good service. It was all remote.
Right.
It was just a real train wreck, And again, if you're in that situation, don't then turn to, we just have someone here, because again, that's, look at better outsourced.
That's a good point. I mean, there's absolute situations where people have had such a bad experience with their outsourced provider that hiring whoever they could get to be internal was a net positive.
And it makes them feel like they have more control.
Well,
they don't, but yeah.
I remember we got a customer who they had an outsourced provider that had nobody in their state, and they never came to their state, and they never came on site.
Mm-hmm.
And they had somebody who needed a new monitor plugged in, and the cable wasn't correct, and the person didn't know how to describe what was wrong.
Right.
And had that monitor for 9 months.
Yeah.
Right. So for them, hiring anybody is gonna feel big positive. But you're totally right. Just because you've had a bad experience, the whole point of this message is that our long experience in the industry, hundreds and hundreds of businesses we've worked with, we know that in general, 999 times out of 1,000, internal IT is going to not give good results for a small to medium business, versus outsourced.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is that drastic.
Yeah.
And this is a newer development.
Right.
In the 90s, in the 2000s, internal IT did work better. There was a lot less going on. There was a couple of core competencies you needed.
Yep.
And you know what? Computers broke all the time.
Yep.
And they're going to be there fixing those computers.
Yep. Security-wise, totally different.
It was a different thing. And so that 50-person company with one internal IT employee, they got along pretty well.
Yep.
But the third kind of reason why it doesn't work out is what has changed is all those internal people who've been doing internal IT, they have that on their resume so they can prove to you they're a good internal IT employee.
Yeah.
In the last 30 years, they have learned how to take care of 1, 2, maybe 3 businesses. Because that's what happens with internal IT.
Right.
It's not just the nature of having it inside your company, it's also the people who are doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Whereas an outsourced IT provider is going to have the experience of dozens or hundreds of customers.
Yes.
With constantly evolving, changing new systems.
Yeah.
And they're going to come into your environment when you hire them, and they're going to look and say, whoa, nobody does that anymore.
Right.
You're paying 10 times, literally 10 times more than you should be for this thing.
Yep.
And I remember we took a customer on once and we looked at their internet and we said, your internet bill should be 10
right
off the end of it.
Yes.
Like literally,
yeah.
What is happening?
Right.
And we fixed it.
Right.
I mean, those are the kinds of things that can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to talk about something else with this internal IT. It's just it's something that's out there. It's maybe a little different, but pseudo IT is what I call it.
Oh yeah.
Pseudo IT. So having that one employee that maybe maybe knows IT a little bit, or maybe more than those. And just in general, having an employee take care of that is a very risky proposition.
That's right.
And also for them, just in regards to burnout as well. I mean, it's just we see that a lot, and that's not a good course of action either.
No, it's not.
No.
Yeah, when it comes to the pseudo IT, it's so common in the smaller business world because you start out not needing that much, not needing, and then this person kind of learns the buttons to push and things.
Right.
And it'll get you a little ways. And then one day you have some big critical blow up.
Yeah.
And you go, where's our data?
Yeah.
And the person's like, I don't know.
Yep.
And you're like, I guess we should have backups. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Those are the things we see. I mean, we've seen people lose data because nobody in the organization even thought about the fact that it doesn't matter if you're in the cloud or not.
Right.
Your data needs to be backed up.
Yep.
And if it's not, and you are the unlucky one that year who has an event,
right,
it's gone.
Yeah, exactly. And
Outsourced IT is not going to let that happen because you fire them immediately.
Right.
You might even sue them if it's negligence.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So they don't let that happen.
Yes.
In general.
Yeah. Yeah. And, outsourced IT is going to conferences, is learning things, knows new products, all that kind of stuff. Very important. And the other thing too, along with another thing that I think about when I think of internal IT is the side hustle IT. And that again, probably okay, 20 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, probably okay, but not today. Your side hustle IT, where it's somebody who's just kind of doing it, on the side, maybe, I don't know, maybe they're retired and doing it, or maybe they have another job and they do it on the side, or maybe it's a relative you have, or that kind of thing. Again, that's overall, as an organization, you're going to lose so many efficiencies and other problems if you're trying to use somebody that has like a doing IT as a side hustle.
Right.
It's just not going to it's not going to help you. So.
Yeah, and I really do think it's worth mentioning, and it's related to all the things we've talked about: the side hustle, the internal person. Maybe the person's been doing it for a long time. You've had them for a long time. You had internal IT. It's okay. We're doing okay. We're keeping the lights on.
Yeah.
The biggest long-term problem with any internal IT setup for a small to medium business.
Yeah.
Even if you get a good person, even if you get a couple good people.
Yeah.
Even if these people do a good job, their job is to take care of your business the way it is.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
And they don't get exposed to the other things that your business is going to need. It's not like in an enterprise where some of those employees in the big IT department are literally going to half a dozen conferences a year,
right?
Who are doing a lot of training, who are dealing with vendors constantly in your space, right?
Right.
That's a expense that you can't afford.
Yeah.
When your internal IT people have to keep the lights on every day, right?
Yeah.
So the knowledge gap grows and grows over time, and sometimes the worst thing you can do is hire somebody in that has a lot of knowledge, because the last story I want to tell is a small business where I got an opportunity to just kind of meet and talk with the internal IT manager.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy. He's actually very smart.
Yeah.
Very knowledgeable. This company was going to not have a problem that this guy couldn't handle.
Yeah.
Right. So that does happen, right?
Yeah.
Of course, you can have a great employee.
Yep.
And he was good. And I was like, hey, you're great. And he was really excited to show me the server room, server setup.
Yeah.
This was a construction firm. I think maybe they had 50 to 80 computer endpoints. It was a bigger construction company. And we go in, he's showing me the server room. It's 4 full racks. And he's showing me all the systems they're using. And here's my, full solid state SAN.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, I'm like, oh boy, how much did that cost? No, yeah, and here's my Cisco blades.
Yeah.
And he's giving me, he's going through all the cool stuff they have and all, and I'm totaling it up in my head, and he's really open. I just asked him, how much was that? Oh man, how much was that? This firm is sitting on like $500,000 of IT hardware.
Yeah.
And I'm knowing with almost horror.
Yeah.
That I take care of many customers with the same IT needs, the same IT scale, and they don't have $500,000 of IT hardware.
Right.
Some of them have no IT hardware, but most of them will have $10,000 to $20,000 of IT hardware.
Right.
And why? So why is it? Well, because this guy is too knowledgeable about all the great enterprise IT solutions in the world. So he came into the org. They put 100% confidence in him. And they're spending year over year $1 million more than they should be on IT. And
absolutely.
In that particular case, it was so drastic to me because there was no doubt in my mind that literally, if this company, who is not going to switch because boy, everything's running great. He's the guy. He's the man. He came from this big place, the shaped place. He knows how to do it right. I'm sitting there going, wow, you guys are, you're burning $1 million a year.
Oh yeah.
Nobody will ever tell you different. You're going to be fine. Like, so it's kind of the flip side, right? They're not having a problem with internal IT because they're not getting good results. They're paying 10 times more than they should be for the results they're getting. So
absolutely.
You can get burned both ways.
We just see a lot of issues with when people choose that. So absolutely. I wonder too, as you know, as businesses are trying to decide when do they need IT, like when should they first start thinking about that?
That's a great question.
How many people, how many, is it devices? Like when do they actually need to get some help with IT?
It's a really good question. Obviously, if you're in business at all, you're using IT.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an email? Do you have a website?
Right.
Do you answer a phone?
Right.
You're going to use it immediately.
Yeah.
But if you are in certain lines of business, if you are going to have 3 employees, if you have a cash register at your business, if you have a point of sale machine, you can go a long time without full-time IT of any sort.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the businesses that get serviced by the people you call, come up and help fix my internet. Right. And that's fine. But as soon as a business, a really clean takeaway where you really, really should be asking yourself, who do I know who has a good IT place? If you have 10 or more employees who spend the bulk of their day working on a desktop, a laptop, a tablet, because they use specific software. If you are in that situation at all, that's when the cost benefit really starts to kick in. And a great statistic we were just sharing with some of our management the other day, for many, if not most, of our customers, the outsourced IT expense is probably the second or third biggest line item on their monthly budget. We have customers who have been using us since we started, right? And they would not pay that much of their monthly budget if it was not a benefit to their business.
Right.
And it's just as simple as that. So that's when you should look at it. If you gotta, if these machines have to work, it is funny too, because we see organizations that can kind of get by without it, because it's hard for them to see how much of a disruption it is. If you're a vet, the fact that this computer breaks every other day and that printer breaks every other day, people don't necessarily run up to you and scream about it. They go figure out the other machine. And now you don't know why you're slowing down. Now you don't know why things are getting behind. You're missing appointments. Because you're not thinking about the IT. You're thinking about, you're a vet. You don't think about IT. So we've even seen situations where people, again, so hesitant to take that leap. They're like, oh, wow, I could never live without you now that I know what it's like.
Right. And, that's what I think of with that question is, I think of risk. I think of how much are you what's your revenue as a small business,
Right.
whether you're one person, two people, 5, 10, whatever. Like, are you willing to, how much you willing to lose? How much you willing to lose to just wing it?
Yep.
It's different today. And like you're talking about, even with efficiencies, like everything everyone does today runs through technology.
That's right.
That is not going to change. It is not going to change. So everything you do runs through technology, and you might, maybe you've got a website, marketing, maybe you've, sales. You got all these different components that you've plugged in. You're spending money on, doing all that stuff with, and we see a lot of times where the technology is the last thing to think about.
Right.
And so it's why you're rolling the dice, number one. And then also too, like, you don't even know what problems are happening. You don't even know maybe how good it could be, how much better, how much more revenue you can make, how much more other things, if you had things set up the right way. That's what I often think about, because, we have examples of, and it's always interesting for us. Now, this is something that I think is a real confidential type of subject. I think it's a real, whatever, behind the, scenes, behind the curtain, all this kind of stuff, is that oftentimes when it comes to one or two person companies, or 5 or 8 or 9, that kind of thing, anything below 10, we're not adverse to help, but it seems like they're not ready to get help.
It's true.
They're not ready to, because there is a little bit of money you got to spend. They're not willing to spend it. They're not willing to get. So it's actually, they're not ready.
It's
right?
true.
They're not ready. And so a lot of times we'll focus on, that number of, between 10 and 300, let's say.
That's right.
Between 10 and 300, And, I think of, you could have a one person, maybe an attorney or legal or something like that, and they need network equipment because they're running a practice or a business or something else like that, that you can't use. You for sure wouldn't use residential, right? Just residential. Like, there's all these things that break and problems that happen, and it's like, oh, well, you need network equipment so it can be managed, and so it doesn't break, and so this and that.
Yep.
Oh, I want to spend the money for that, and we're talking not much,
right?
And it's like, wow, like where's the equation in that? You're the thing that you need probably the most, and you're not willing to spend money on it.
I've seen situations where, you're recommending a solution that is 1 day of revenue, small business,
right?
And it's going to mitigate an issue that pops up multiple times a month, and impacts their ability to make that revenue.
Yes.
But that's too much. IT
right.
shouldn't be that expensive.
Right.
Like, well, this commercial firewall is going to last you at least 5 years, and
right,
it's going to smooth out those issues you're having,
right,
enable these things you want, and I don't know about that.
Exactly.
But and on the flip side, we've helped. It's definitely not the norm, but we've helped some very small orgs who are very serious about their IT needs.
Yes, and
they spent a lot of money per employee, if you look at it that way.
Yeah,
and they got the results they wanted because they knew it was worth it. The investment.
Yeah, and that's why I bring it up, because there is some out there. We have some that are small and they're great. They're fine. They're great. They get it. And then, but for the most part, we tend to shy away from that, size under 10, because it can prove to be, where they're not ready to have IT.
Right.
It's sad. For me, it's sad. It's really sad. Because it is so important. It can help them so much, and they're taking risk. And that's why I talk about it, because it's one of those things I always think about. And it's always something that I try to wrap my head around, what could we do and this and that, but sometimes there's not much we can do.
Yep. Yeah, and it is funny too. My final thought on that for the really small businesses.
Yeah.
Technology is a tool.
Yeah.
You probably use a lot of other tools in your business that you can't live without. Just because technology seems different, IT seems different.
Yeah.
It's just a tool. And actually,
Right.
these tools can be even more effective when you're small.
Yeah.
If you are an organization of a certain size, having somebody answer the phone and set appointments is no problem.
Yeah.
If you're a very small business, that might be a huge drain on you,
Yeah.
just answering the phone.
Yep.
Use technology to set up a way for people to automatically set appointments online
Yep.
on your website. Right?
Yep. Yep.
Use a bookings, but
Yep.
that's an investment. It has great returns.
Yeah.
And I would like to see more of that. Personally, I've always wanted a way to give great IT in a cost-effective way to small and startup businesses so they can succeed, because there's so many who are good at doing something.
Yeah.
But in this day and age, you also need to be at least adequate at technology
Yes.
to compete.
Right.
I
Yes.
was looking for a dog boarder
Yeah.
a while ago,
Yeah.
and the first place I went,
Yeah.
their website was not online.
Right.
I know they were in business. I saw recent reviews,
Yeah.
but I didn't call to ask my questions. I just went to the next one,
Right.
and their website was online,
Right.
and their website had all the information I needed.
Yep.
So then I called them and I booked with them.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the way it
Yeah.
works.
Simple example. Absolutely. Well, great. Well, I think we've covered this one pretty good. So I don't have any final thoughts on that, but
No, I just want to recap because it is something that, because of the things I've seen,
yeah.
it's near and dear to me.
Yeah.
I've been an internal IT person before.
Yeah.
Great gig if you can get it, by the way.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Don't,
Yeah.
that's a whole different subject.
Yeah.
But it's a great gig because you can't be held accountable for anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't like it. I found it very boring.
Yeah.
And I'm glad. I love working in this industry, but
Yeah.
it's scary to me. It's scary. Like
And
the lack of
what's
oversight.
the and what's the career path?
Right.
You're one person.
There's a great career path to get
The rest of the
enterprise
the rest of
IT.
the company has a career path, but
Right.
you're one person.
Oh no, it's true.
In outsourced, you have a career path.
Yeah, you go into enterprise IT as an IT person,
Yep.
professional. You're going to specialize in some aspect
Mhm.
that a large enterprise team is going to find your value in, and that's one way to go, and that's fine.
Yep.
But no small to medium business needs that. They don't
Yeah.
need that specialization,
Right.
and no generalist is as good as a outsourced team.
Right.
that-
Absolutely.
with broad. But just to recap, if you're a SMB, don't hire internal IT
Mm-hmm.
because you don't have the expertise to do it well
Right. Or manage it.
or manage it.
Yep.
Don't hire internal IT because their incentives are not going to be well aligned, because their incentives are to do what you tell them to do, but
Mm-hmm.
to point one, you don't really know what to tell them to do.
Right.
And their incentive is just to, keep their job.
Right.
Their incentive is not to give fantastic IT service to you.
Right.
Right. And then the third thing is, even if you luck out, even if you get good people, your internal IT team, they're not going to have broad knowledge,
Right.
broad support,
Right.
and broad growth
Right.
to help you have good solutions that are what you need, but not too expensive, the right
Yep.
things. When you work with an outsourced provider, you're going to literally get 100 or 1,000 times greater knowledge applied to every question your business faces.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's just the
Absolutely.
way it works.
Yeah. I like it. All right, Chad. Another one in the books.
All right. That was a good one.
Shake and bake.